the race shop of Junior Johnson, whose cars have won 11 of 20 events here in the last 10 years. Neil Bonnet tried to beat Junior's cars for 8 years at North Wilkes before he won for Junior a year ago. Darrell Waltrip's record here as a Junior Johnson driver is 6 for 9, and he attributes his success to Junior's days as a driver.
It probably relates back to years and years and years ago when Junior actually raced here. You know, he was awful tough on this racetrack himself when it was dirt. And he was tough on all the short tracks as a driver. And I think it shows up in our race cars. We've always been able to run really well on short tracks. Martinsville, Bristol, Nashville, everywhere we ever went on a short track, the car always seemed to be a little quicker than everybody else's.
Darrell's most recent win was in the fall race in 1984. He beat Harry Gant and Bobby Allison en route to the Holly Farms crown. The Johnson cars were 1-2 at the spring race last year, with Bonnet chalking up win number 15 for Junior's cars at North Wilkesboro overall. He doesn't own North Wilkesboro Speedway, but his record speaks for itself. And they've even named the densely populated backstretch grandstand for Junior Johnson. ESPN, your #1 auto racing network, presents Auto Racing 86. Welcome you to North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina on a cloudy Sunday afternoon. The temperature is 73 degrees. Humidity 35%. We have a 40% chance of rain today, and it's rather windy, with winds from the southwest at 25 to 30 miles an hour. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins, and welcome to the First Union 400 Winston Cup race, the 7th for 1986. The story so far this weekend here at North Wilkesboro has been qualifying and the performance of Richard Petty. He came close but did not capture the pole for today's race. With me in the booth working the event today, Larry Newber, and instead Larry Jeff Bodine on the pole.
Bob, in all of racing, it's been a heartwarming season. We have seen Kevin Cogan and Michael Andretti win their first races in Indy cars. The Vet has finally won an IMSA. And this week, Richard Petty came here to North Wilkesboro, not expecting to go for the pole, but they were so fast they had no choice. But Jeff Bodine, admitting there was some tugs at his heart, beat Richard out for the pole. But I think it does point out how evenly matched everybody is this year. Why I think Parsons is even going to win this year.
And also with us in the booth for today's race is Benny Parsons, Winston Cup competitor. And Benny, there's certainly no favorite for today's race.
Oh, there isn't a favorite because, as you mentioned in the opening of the show, for the past 10 years, Junior Johnson's cars have been dominant here. They've won about everything. But I started racing at this track in 1970, and for the next 5 or 6 years, there was a fella almost impossible to beat, Richard Petty. As Larry mentioned, he's starting second today. He has a chance. But when we talk about 1986, we got to mention Dale Earnhardt. There's been about 2,500 miles of racing competition in 1986. Earnhardt has led around 1,100 miles, almost half of them. Certainly he has an opportunity today.
All right, and also working with us today in the pit area will be Jack Arute. Let's go to Jack for more on this front row, Jeff Bodine and Richard Petty.
Well, gentlemen, as Bob Bucher would say, the front row had a couple of surprises. One on the inside wasn't a surprise. Jeff Bodine snared his third Busch pole of the year. But this fella standing next to me came this close to winning his first since 1979. Richard Petty, the two-day qualifying did you in. That first day, you had the fastest lap.
Well, we had the fastest lap first day, and if we were a little bit faster, we could have the fastest lap the second day. But, we were real pleased with qualifying as good as we did. So, you don't want to get too greedy. It's been so long since we've been this close. We'll just take this.
Well, hey, listen, the way things have been going the last couple of weeks, the guy on the pole hasn't come up through the gearbox quick enough, and the guy on the outside leads going into the first turn.
Well, I'm kind of slow on that, too, so me and him probably have a good start on this one.
How about your running here at North Wilkesboro? Do you think you've really got a legitimate shot, what with your injured shoulder and the problems that you've had over the last couple of weeks?
Well, yeah, we seem like we do. We feel like that the car's very capable of taking care of the thing, and, you know, it's just a 400-lap race. So, you know, if everything goes right, I should be able to make it okay. So we feel like we've got a super good chance of it.
Confidence coming from Richard Petty, the kind of confidence we haven't seen since maybe 1979.
The King is back and could very well be a factor in today's First Union 400, which is being brought to you by Goodyear. You either have Goodyear Eagles or you need them. And by today's Chevrolet, who invites you to live the style, performance, and fun of Chevrolet in '86. And by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name. We have 30 cars ready to go, and the First Union 400 will be back with a starting lineup in just a moment. North Wilkesboro is 5/8 of a mile as the field begins to pull away on first of about 3 pace laps to get the cars heated up. The turns are 660 feet, straightaways are 990 feet. Banking on the turns 14 degrees, and the racetrack is about 75 feet wide. The seating capacity here is 18,000, and just about every seat is taken for today's race. Now a look at the starting lineup for the First Union 400. On the pole, qualifying at 112.419 in the Levi Garrett Chevrolet car number 5 from Chemung, New York, his 3rd straight pole position, Jeff Bodine. Outside of row number 1, from Randleman, North Carolina, in the STP Pontiac car 43, Richard Petty. In the 2nd row, the Folgers Coffee Chevrolet car 25, Tim Richmond from Ashland, Ohio. And on the outside of the 2nd row will be Terry Labonte from Corpus Christi, Texas, in the number 44 Piedmont Airlines Oldsmobile. The 3rd row, from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Dale Earnhardt in the Wrangler Jeans Chevrolet car number 3, and Bobby Allison from Hueytown, Alabama, in the number 22 Miller American Buick. In the 4th row, from Upland, California, Joe Ruttman, the Quaker State Buick car number 26. Outside of the 4th row, starting 8th, will be the Budweiser Chevrolet car 12, driven by Neil Bonnet from Hueytown, Alabama. In row number 6, Kyle Petty from Randleman, North Carolina, in the 711 Ford car number 7. And then outside of row number 5 will be Darrell Waltrip from Franklin, Tennessee, in the number 11 Budweiser Chevrolet. Row number 6, Ken Schrader from Fenton, Missouri, in car number 90, and Alan Kulwicki in 35. The 7th row, Bill Elliott in number 9, and Ricky Rudd in 15. The 8th row, Rusty Wallace in 27, and Harry Gann in 33. Row number 9, Jody Ridley in 75, and Ron Bouchard in 98. The 10th row, Bobby Hillen Jr. in car number 8, and Doug Hebron in 17. In the 11th row, Dave Marcus and Morgan Shepherd. Row number 12, Chet Phillip and Mike Waldrop. In row number 13, Buddy Arrington, car 67, J.D. McDuffie, number 70. In the 14th row, Trevor Boys in car number 6, and Jimmy Means in number 52. And in the last row, row number 15, Willie T. Ribbs in car number 30, and Rick Baldwin in 64. Willie T. Ribbs becomes the 3rd black driver to make the field for a Winston Cup race.